Thank you. Could you please call the hearing number for the record?
This is Commission hearing number 4 of 12 September 2019 in the case of 002 Lewis Betsy.
Thank you. Before we call the first witness, there's a couple of changes to the schedule for today. At 1 p.m., Pat Leblache will come and give evidence in this case. On the schedule, we had indicated Mr. Anesta coming at 3 p.m. today. He will not be appearing today. He did alert us some time ago that he would not be available, but he will be available to appear before the Commission between the 10th and the 18th of October when we hold our next hearing session. Could you please call the first witness?
The first witness, Mr. Lewis Betsy.
Betsy,
swear that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Betsy, you are the complainant in this case, and your complaint is the second complaint being heard by the Commission. The Commission appreciates that it may be difficult at times to recount your story, and it invites you to take your time in giving your evidence. We're due to adjourn today at 10:30, but if at any time you feel that you would like to take a break, just indicate that you'd like to break and we'll be happy to accommodate you.
Thank you.
So I ask you just to set out your complaint for us today.
Yes,
thank you.
Basically, I will try to speak in Creole because for the community in the country. Okay. On va se préparer. Bon, premièrement, je voulais dire merci à l'Assemblée nationale, Cécile, qui nous met ça bon point devant, qui aujourd'hui, mon arrivé ici devant les autres pour expliquer un peu qui m'a mon la vie déroulée depuis les avant les channel Exile. Mon quoi, je peux travailler assez bien, je mettre sa caisse devant. Alors, aujourd'hui, mon arrivé ici et je remercie bon Dieu aussi pour moi là, pour qu'il explique mon histoire, ou raconte mon histoire, en other words. Deuxièmement, je remercie tout qui là devant pour ce travail qu'ils ont une prend. Je connais pour dire pas un ouvrage facile, un ouvrage un peu compliqué, difficile. Que moi j'ai pour faire lui, ça mon quoi autres qui pour décider as je go along. Mais on les dit autres bon sens, soit autres bon sens dans le travail. Il faut espérer at the end outcome, il y avoir bon pour tout parti qui vient get involved dans de sa commission. Premièrement, je ne sais pas si je dois demander une question première pour commencer. Je demande avec Banjis ou tout qui là. Est-ce qu'il est capable d'arriver là, qui s'appelle Dimon qui fait pas d'un coup d'État 1977, est-ce qu'il est capable d'arriver là, qui a gagné appelé pour raconter des histoires, ou soit peut-être commission demandée pour ça Dimon passe en cours concernant un SARS high treason qu'ils ont fait, tu peux en pays avec ZAM, puis il y a du monde qui a perdu la vie. Tout ça, qualité façon, et moi plus tard, mon gars a arrêté qui, je ne sais pas qui m'ont fait ce qu'aujourd'hui. Je ne sais pas si tu as une réponse de suite là, ou ça va moi plus tard.
I think if I understood your question, you are asking whether we will call all the people involved in the coup d'etat here, or whether we'll ask them to appear before a court and be charged with high treason for illegally taking over the country. I mean, our mandate is tied to the investigation of complaints, allegations of human rights violations. We are not charged with determining the legality or illegality of the coup d'etat of 1977.
Yes.
Our mandate is very much tied to the investigation of a complaint that someone makes. So we won't be asking a court to try these people for high treason. We will ask them to appear before us when they are implicated in allegations that are made about human rights violations in complaints that have been filed before us.
Thank you. Par exemple, on commence avec mon histoire. Et puis, loin, 1979. 1979, tiens, hier, pour moi, elle en est qui passe beaucoup quelque chose pour moi. On gagne beaucoup la joie, beaucoup quelque chose d'arrivé. Et plus mauvais part qui est arrivé, les gens gagne arrêté. Tu as gagné mettre dans la prison. Bon, ça l'en est, tu as un monsieur qui joue football bien. À cause de moi, je commence mon carrière dans le football, moi j'étais au côté en football, moi je peux enjoy football to the best of my ability, and the best time of my life was in 1979. Pelé, tu as un grand joueur de football du monde, tu viens visiter Seychelles et tu as invité ici par Rovers Football Club, qui est mon club qui est capitaine. Et mon bon ami, tu the late Gérard Wao, et tu coach. Après 79 aussi, moi j'ai gagné chance pour rencontrer le président René, qui vient à Lola Plaine, qui a un game entre un team sorti Russia qui s'appelle Tavria. Président René, tu viens de Lola Plaine, tu as moins point de main. Tu souhaites mon bon sens. Par les autres connaissent même là où gagne quelque chose comme ça arrivé avec eux, quelque chose d'important. Et mon petit peu réalisé pour dire plus tard, par la fin de l'année, je vais gagner amasser, arrêter, mettre dans la prison. Plus, somewhere, dans mon file, là, mon photo qui M. René, qui vient de moi pour une main, pour que les autres pour voir là-bas que les autres étaient. Après, l'autre section, c'est Indian Games 1979 qui fait la réunion. Mon petit captain team Cécile. Et tout le temps, mon vie, je représente Cécile et mon envie de continuer à faire ça. Et mon cas, nous fait bien, nous avons fini deuxième, nous avons gagné un silver medal. Et ça aussi, ça en est quelque chose d'important pour nos familles. Par exemple, qu'on est là où on grandit dans un système, de façon que les familles traitent tout, no matter what, quand même, notre misère. Mais nous avons le respect pour tout le monde. Et nous respectons tout le monde qui nous grandit avec. Pour apprendre à vivre, pour ne pas faire crime, pas le voler, pas le faire tout quelque chose. Pour vivre la vie normale. Moi, je fais tout ça là, moi. Je suis satisfait. Il y a trois nous frères qui ont joué des îles. 1979, il y a mon frère Lindsay qui représente le volleyball. Et mon autre petit frère, encore Victor, lui, qui représente le basketball. Mais moi, j'ai besoin de choisir entre volleyball avec football, à comment tu fais tout ça dans le sport. Mais moi, j'ai choisi football. En 79 aussi, il y a un meeting Paris Times qui a fait par l'administration sport CCL. Ce meeting, si je me rappelle bien, c'est dirigé par le ministre Esmezimo. Dans ce meeting, nous avons causé, il y a tout le football club qui a enregistré CCL, qui a invité pour venir. Là-dedans, dans ce meeting, les représentants du gouvernement ils ont décidé pour eux nationalize sport. Ça veut dire faire zoning sport. Ça veut dire, l'autre façon, si vous restez dans une région par exemple, vous posez football pour sa district. Si vous restez Montfleury, vous avez besoin de football pour Montfleury. Si vous restez Glacis, vous avez besoin de football pour Glacis. Mais à cause de mon capitaine Rovers, dans ce meeting, je débute. À cause de nous déjà gagné un meeting entre nous et football, nous avons dit, nous ne pouvons pas prendre de la zoning à cause il peut détruire le football, c'est ça. Et moi, je débute, moi, je exprime mon opinion concernant sa zoning à cause de moi, je connais. Pour dire pas pour moi assez, à cause dans chaque district, à l'époque, c'est celle qui n'a pas sa quantité de joueurs pour faire 15 joueurs, 11 joueurs, 18 joueurs, 20 joueurs, ou bien on a un team pour faire un team football. Mais ça l'étant, à cause qu'il y a un one party state, il faut ça, l'ONU. Quand même, nous disons ça qui nous tire, nous ne pas l'accepter, nous continuer avec zoning. Mais pour ça, mon quoi aujourd'hui, je dis, mon y va d'accord avec moi, qui côté football n'est arrivé aujourd'hui, mon quoi nous tourne 10 ans, 15 ans en arrière, à cause de 79. Par exemple, mon dit talent, j'ai gagné silver medal dans le tournament la Réunion. Aujourd'hui, le football est incroyable, bien capable, ou get une bonne fédération qui m'a dit faire. Sorry, mon pays a un petit peu le football, mais à cause du football, il y a un game qui m'a dit content, terrible. Nous pouvons retourner en arrière et ça y donne un mauvais quelque chose, l'exemple pour le pays. Il juste monter pour dire ça un système qui ça créé, il détruit nos sports terrible. Là aujourd'hui, je crois que toute fédération sport peut créer left, right and center, c'est les corps pour faire nos sports monter. Nous bonnement il y a pas de problème avec Dog, on a pas aux 6 000 quelques dimanches. Les maman qui peut servir Dog comme là, qui m'ont pas connaît dans les statistiques qui dit, qui m'ont pas quoi pour dire bon pour nos pays, pour nos sports et tout. Il faut espérer ben des gens qui peut écouter. Il y a assez get together si tout le monde politicien pour se faire un changement avec sa façon qui bonne fédération peut travailler qui fait aider pour improve nos sports c'est ça. Et l'état de le sport, moi je remercie ben du monde qui n'a dans Indian Ocean Games qui me fait tellement bien pour CCL, il me fait pavillon monter et moi aussi tout le temps mon intention pour faire pavillon CCL monter. Le 15 novembre 1979, on peut dire tout ça là, à cause de ça, l'année 1979, il restait dans mon esprit. Incroyable. Le 15 novembre, tiens, au vendredi, mais avant ça, il y a un bon événement qui est passé, bon normal, tu vas démontrer, il y a une bonne démonstration normal, partout, sortir en ville, sortir mon fleury, descendre en ville. Tu as une bonne difficulté dans le pays, ça l'état. Mais moi, je peux travailler parce que concerne moi, je quelque chose beaucoup. Je continue avec mon travail. Mais le 15 novembre, ça se vendredi, je me rappelle bien, mon coach, mon bon ami, qui m'a avec everyday, à cause il tient un garçon bien discipliné. Nous avons un casté youth dans notre team, nous pouvons essayer et d'autres montrer les autres jouer football, quelque chose. Ça se vendredi après-midi, la police n'a l'arrêté, il a massé. Il a mis en dedans, le 15 novembre 1979. On bien ça gagne. À l'époque, moi, je travaillais dans le premier gouvernement. Mon madame téléphone moi, il dit, moi, je n'arrête, si je connais n'arrête Gérard, moi, je dis oui. Mon apprendre, mais seulement, là, fait non, bien le faire vendredi, so peut-être, plus tard, la fin d'âge qui est arrivé. Et dès que ça qui est arrivé, tout le monde peut hésiter, pas téléphone du monde, pas cause de camarades. À cause beaucoup de monde qui commence à faire. Mais l'état Gérard, qui a arrêté, il y a plusieurs du monde qui a arrêté avec lui. Il y a un mauvais ami qui joue football avec moi, Max Racombo. Lui aussi, qui a arrêté. Et il y en a plusieurs du monde. Je crois que je la liste par là, sur moi, je donne une copie ça là, qui à peu près 79-80 du monde qui a amassé bien, moi, je parle. Son mardi, lundi, sorry, son lundi, moi, j'ai planté un limon, la misère, quand moi, j'ai la terre, moi, j'ai fait pasté, on prend un peu de limon, on met dans l'auto, la misère, on plante limon. On descend, retourne de la cour, le mardi bon matin, levé par le travail, pareil l'habitude. D'un petit 11h, 11h15, on voit un de mon boss, il vient montrer les doigts au moins, à cause qu'il y en a 3 bourgs armés avec fusil. Tu viens dans le premier coup de mon travail. Je dans les detention order, le papier qui dit que j'ai besoin détenir-moi, arrête-moi. Mon saisi, pas qu'on est pour faire un bourg avec fusil derrière moi. Je dis mon gars l'ordre avec le président René pour venir arrêter moi. Le président qui m'a pour faire, moi j'ai sorti à cause ça m'a dit mon mais il n'y a pas rien qui m'a capable de faire. Je dis moi si vous les autres parlent dehors d'un Land Rover. Je m'arrive dehors, je dis moi entrer dans l'auto, dans Land Rover, moi entrer. Et je dis virer, moi pas connais si peut-être parmi les autres, il y en a des gens là qui connaissent, qui m'ont l'imprimé le gouvernement qui était, contre radio CCL station. Si les autres connaissent ça l'endroit, qui m'ont été, ils ont fait les tours, moi de prison. Je sorti l'imprimerie, coup de mon travail, et mon mot de prison. Je t'amène mon prison, les mains là vont débarquer, je vois M. Sikobo, qui tient en sage avec des 3 démons. Je dis, dis-moi, prends mon nom, bon détail. Après, je me demande la casse. La casse, je gagne la guerre après 3 mois, en février. L'état de la prison, je gagne interview avec le commissionnaire James Pillet en ville. Je descends dans Land Rover. Encore, il y a des gens armés ou descendent, ils sont attisés. Je vais voir M. Pillet. À l'époque, il y a un bon journal qui peut distribuer partout dans ces cellules. Je ne sais pas comment il peut distribuer un journal. Et côté ça, journal est sorti. Pardon? Oui, le journal, tu peux distribuer partout, mais non pas qu'on est lequel qui peut distribuer. Là, on a le M. Pillet, on est dans le commissionnaire, là, la police centrale. Il demande moi si je connais à cause de mon gars arrêté. Puis ça, moi, je dis non, moi, si mon idole, mon gars arrêté, moi, pas connais qui m'ont fait. Il dit moi, si vous pas dit non, qui m'ont fait, ou pour moi dans la prison. Puis ça, moi, je dis mon idole, moi, pas connais qui m'ont fait, ou pas connais qui m'ont fait, mais il y a mon cas mort dans la prison. Anyway, il m'a témoigné sans papier. Le président dit moi, avec l'expérience, mon quoi, on explique nous, peut-être qu'il m'a sans papier, quand il fait. Moi, j'ai dit, quand même, mon expérience, mon cas dit, qui m'a peut-être une gang qui t'a fait sauter une servie. Mais c'est bon, pas qu'on n'a rien, on n'a pas rien pour faire avec ce papier. Puis il dit, moi, je ne sais pas qu'on est, je vais aller, mais c'est moi, mon cas fait qu'on est pour dire, pour mort de la prison, si ou pas, peut-être comme forward. Si un jour décidé pour venir dire, quelqu'un fait papier, ou ça, si on fait, on a droit à demander monsieur si pour descendre contre moi. On va dire, nous pouvons faire papier, après là, on va là à go. Le président m'a dit, ok, moi aller moi de la prison. Retourne dans la prison, mais étant retourne dans la prison, non, il n'y a pas l'arrivée encore, parce qu'il est largué en février. Si on va tomber petit deuxième semaine, février, il est largué. Tiens, souvent vendredi encore. Mais après ça, moi la vie, peut-être, par exemple, qu'on est dans une situation comme ça, ou try not to get involved dans quelque chose wrong. Peut-être déstabiliser la vie un peu, mais c'est un monde parler assez normal. Mon retourne contre moi, là, mon retourné, mon père dit mon job tout. Pour retourner au travail, je dis moi pendant le travail, moi quand je donne une copie mon lit avec les autres ici, je prends les autres corner, qui je dis moi mon arrête. On a un lit qui m'a gagné une promotion pour venir overseas dans le premier gouvernement. Après, on a un lit signé par Willy qu'on fait. Et l'autre lit encore qui dit I am directed to inform you that your appointment has been terminated with effect from the 1st of March 1980. You will be paid shortly. And that was it. Mr. Confé qui signe sa lettre et le gouvernement il pousse mon travail. Le travail que moi je suis content de faire, on fait bien, on fait gagner pour moi. Si on arrive au Vessi, troisième du monde dans le premier gouvernement, on perdu tout ça là. Anyway, please, l'état moi je suis dans la prison, mon madame tient bon amis avec madame Belle-Louis, Ogilvy Belle-Louis. Tiens, bon ami avec mon madame, tu demandes une permission pour venir voir moi en dedans, avec mon garçon, tu as dit un an, parce qu'on a un demi, mon garçon, ça fait 15 mois ou 16 mois, something like that. Mais ils viennent voir moi dans la prison, ils sont en soque voir moi, hier, moi, j'étais allé, je ne peux pas voir aller, on passe 3 mois de la prison, ils disent, comment ils viennent contre moi, ils tombent, ils dorment. On n'a pas de sens voir. Mais après ça, je suis sorti, je suis causé avec M. Berlouis, dis-moi comme ça, plus bon quelque chose que moi j'ai fait, c'est quitter le pays. Parce que, already, comme si on a dit monde qui finit de marquer, après une fréquentation avec Zérawao, il y a une mauvaise influence, il m'a témoin un document qui Zéra signé. Mais ça est facile à cause du travail dans le gouvernement. Il y a plusieurs documents qui sont capables de gagner, qui sont dans ce signature là. Alors, si dis-moi, il y a un mauvais ami, bonnes affaires, alors, si vous pas mal, pas rester seul, quitte le pays. Mais, le 1er avril, moi, j'arrive à l'Angleterre, moi, j'ai besoin de quitter le pays, quitte ma madame ici. Commencer un nouveau la vie, l'Angleterre, mon beau-frère avec mon sœur qui ramasse moi, dans moi, il doit rester. Après, on a fait une procédure pour moi gagner appelé des gouvernements à cause de mon sortie ici, on n'a pas rien, on n'a pas facilité. Et mon quitte madame Cécile avec un petit garçon, 1 an et demi. Et l'Angleterre bien recevoir à moi et mon a coup de l'office. On a Amnesty International, on a expliqué les autres qui n'arrivent moi, alors je ne pas mon caisse. Les autres, ils demandent au gouvernement anglais pour dans mon political asylum. Mais après, plus tard, un an après, puis là, moi, j'ai accepté comme un prisoners of conscience. Et je suis dans mon status pour rester en Angleterre, mon travail comme un réfugié. Mais je crois 3 mois après, madame aussi, si capable de faire, le masse pays là, ça partout, nous tenons un peu faire des chèques, nous t'y vendons, ils se vendent, après ils montent, nous allons en Angleterre. Là, ils montent avec mon garçon. La vie en Angleterre n'est pas facile. Il tellement dit qu'on les autres même, on peut restart la vie encore une fois. C'est moi qui bon Dieu aide nous aussi. Les mots bon Dieu aide nous aussi. Garçon de football, il continue le football, il fait bien, il commence le football depuis l'âge 6 ans. Il n'est pas tous le football, il fait bien, il a eu le football professionnel. Là, comme il a eu un coach, l'Angleterre, Under 17, pour nous, il fait nous proud, il fait nous happy, quelque chose qui me tient content. Football, c'est celle qui mon garçon d'arriver à réussir à faire ça. Lui aussi. So, alors, je donne aussi pour mon fils aussi, il est né en Angleterre. Il aussi peut faire bien, il fait coaching aussi, puis il aussi joue netball. Il fait tellement bien. Ils m'ont apprécié aussi. Moi, madame, il m'a support. Tout ça, l'état, nous restons ensemble jusqu'à aujourd'hui. Mon abou venu ici pour raconter ces histoires, mais les histoires, ils ont assisé cousins, journées, pour expliquer qu'il nous passe, que moi, il n'y a pas de passé. Mais c'est moi ça qui nous go through là, dans mon pas content, aucune famille, aucun des autres démons go through là. Nous sommes bien censés. Si tout moi, moi personnellement, nous sommes bien censés. L'état moi tiens à l'Angleterre, moi tiens un latte qui m'a acheté. Moi crois en l'avril, moi tu donne une copie ça, monsieur Green me rappelle. Il a sa document, moi crois moi tu donne monsieur Green une copie, tu daté le 5 avril 1979. Moi tu acheté ça latte avec la mission catholique, je me rappelle Frère Victor la misère. Et à cause moi aussi, mon grandi la misère, mon connaît Frère Victor bien. Moi dis bonnes affaires, moi gagné. Mon peut travailler, alors on a gagné commencement pour faire meilleure la vie pour mon famille. Je m'en acheté à la terre. Après, à cause de mon position dans le gouvernement, quand je travaille, je suis entitled pour gagner un loan. Je suis écrit à apply for a loan. Je suis approuvé 100,000 rupees pour moi. Mais c'est moi, par exemple, qu'on est dans notre gouvernement, on paye par 3 portions. Je suis dans la première portion, 45 000 rupees. Qui m'ont accepté. Et ça l'endroit à côté de été, par exemple, qu'on est dans la misère, un peu loin, la bois. Mais seulement pour nous, c'est un commencement. On commence à nettoyer, servir nos l'argent pour commencer à build la case. Nous, l'argent, plus un peu ça l'argent qui gouvernement, tu payes moi, il pousse moi. Il passe de la case. Mon madame aussi, son l'argent aussi qui tient là, il save, il passe là-dedans. Nous, la case, tu restes juste pour couvrir. Nous, pas encore prendre deuxième loan. Tu restes juste pour couvrir. Après, on quitte tout ça là, on a allé. Plus tard, l'État de l'Angleterre, on s'est fait toutes nos façons pour nous capables de quitter la terre. Quelque chose n'a allé tranquille, tu n'as pas aucun problème, nous n'avons pas aucune communication. Ça fait la terre. jusqu'à les 91, les M. René qui déclaré multi-party pour retourner Seychelles. Après, tout le monde qui est en exil, qui n'a pas le droit de descendre Seychelles, l'autre qui retourne chez autres, comme si nous retournions ici. So nous descendons, pas dit nous descendons, moi je descends en 92. Mais 91, nous commençons premièrement, j'ai écrit M. René, pour dire qu'il y a une bonne affaire la terre, qui m'ont perdu, à cause nous commençons à gagner lettre sortie ici qui dit, les autres les prennent la terre, à cause nous pas payer nos loans. Mais nous pas payer loan, moi je suis en Angleterre, moi je n'ai pas de droit venir ici, n'a pas contact avec ici. So, nous répondons en contact avec le gouvernement pour négocier, pour organiser comme nous sommes capables de faire. Nous écrit président René pendant une réponse. Nous écrit président Michel pendant une réponse. J'ai écrit Alain Bidlet Payette pendant une réponse. Nous il y a un avocat qui se peut travailler pour le gouvernement ici, un nom Malba, moi quand on donne une copie de bonne chose, qui tire écrit nous. Qui dit si nous sommes capables d'emmener 10 000 roupies pour transférer nous la terre, nous. Dis en même temps, sa commotion qui passé, moi, madame, avec moi-même, moi, nous amassons 10 000 roupies. Nous descendons avec ça 10 000 roupies pour venir payer le gouvernement pour la terre et transférer nous à cause du gouvernement qui donne nous ça, nous met l'hypothèque nous la terre. Madame il descend au plus vite possible pour lui sortir des affaires là. Il était arrivé ici, je dis pour dire la terre, soit la terre pour prendre, vice versa. Donc, il demandé pour aller voir M. Ernesta, qui est ministre des affaires la terre, la case à l'État. Madame, peut-être plus tard, elle a passé, car elle explique bien là, à cause de mon parti venir ici. C'est moi qui me connaît, c'est le M. Bernard qui est avocat ici, qui demandé pour mettre un stop, qui banza si vend la terre, à cause de là, il est arrivé avec son 10 000 roupies qu'ils ont demandé. Pour les cas payer back son loan. Peut-être madame va expliquer bien, qui m'a eu passé avec M. ministre Ernesta plus tard. Juste pour moi, on voit mal qui m'a fait avec nous. On perd toi quelque chose, on perd quelque chose, moi je suis content, jouer football, je suis besoin d'arrêter, tailler. On perd mon job, on est à l'exil. Dès il y a quelque chose qui peut-être là, moi je retourne plus tard, je dis ok, je gagne l'endroit pour rester. Je ne pas la terre. Quelquefois, les autres pour dire, tu as raison, je dis pour les autres penser, c'est le moment où je suis victime. Qui ne pas quoi il fait, les autres qui prennent la bonne décision, qui disaient pour eux même pouvoir, si peut-être moi tu as raison, soit moi tu n'as pas raison, soit les qui ont raison, mais c'est un martyr qui nous passe là-dedans, qui ne pas quoi il fait pour qu'un démon passe là-dedans. C'est pour ça raison qu'ils m'ont dit, il pas fait pour l'autre famille dans sa bonne situation, qui nous passe là-dedans. C'est moi nous satisfait qui mon corps peut debout, peut causer. Madame est là, mon garçon, mon fils peut faire bien. So, ça me rend compte, par exemple, par contre, il y a plusieurs questions qui demandent moi si je tourne, ou soit si peut-être il y a des questions qui manquent. Madame va arranger pour moi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Betsy, for setting out your complaint for us. You know, my first question is, when you were arrested, did you try to challenge that arrest at all? Was there anywhere you could challenge that arrest?
There's no way you can do that because the officers were armed with the K-47.
There's no. Oh no, I don't mean like physically challenged. Did you try to bring a legal challenge to that arrest?
They showed me the detention order, and that was it. And they gave me a copy of it.
Okay, so you get a detention order, and that's it. You have no right to ask or to challenge.
No.
Okay, thank you.
I was just I was just told to get into the van, and they drove me around to the prison, and that was it.
And what were the conditions like in the prison where you were kept?
Yeah, to be honest, as you know, you're in prison. They lock you up at 6 o'clock, and they open the door again at 6 o'clock in the morning. You get food again about 5 o'clock, 5:30 sometimes, which always the same type of food. Jiri, bouillon bread, poisson frit, et c'est tout. Mais c'est moi qui gagne. Je prends Magnum manger, mais c'est tout le monde qui mange à cause de pas qu'à manger, c'est le qualité manger tous les jours, mais that was it. Mais c'est moi pas qu'à complain pour dire mon bâtiment gagne manger ou whatever. Après moi pas gagne aucun abuse physiquement. Ça m'a pas qu'à dire arriver, mais c'est moi de temps en temps à soir les nous peut dormir. Autant de ban zaslam et puis marcher dehors. Walk. But that was it. One guy. Moi personnellement, pas qu'à complain, j'ai mon gars quelque chose.
And you had to get a special permission to receive a visitor.
Yes.
So there was no like visiting hours. People couldn't come
No.
at it. No.
They're not allowed. But my wife used to come. They just bring. She managed to bring some clothes for me, which was shorts and t-shirts, football t-shirts, and all this. But she used to come almost every day. You just hand it over to the guard outside. That was good. It was good for me while I was inside to know, because you can look through the door and see her going up or going down. It was a very difficult experience. But it was good for her to come and visit us, to see us, more or less. Not see us, but for her to come up. Every day she would come up there. Also because of the friend, my friend Gerard used to play football, but he was in jail as well. But he spent longer than I did. He spent almost 9 months. Even Paul Chow was one of our secretary of the Rovers Football Club. He was in jail with us, but he stayed 9 months as well. In the end, we laughed about it, but it was a very bad experience. I don't want anybody to go through this.
And the detention order just said you're detained
Yes,
at the
you're
pleasure of the
detained,
president.
Yes, but I'm sorry I couldn't have a copy. I did have a copy somewhere along the line. I'm always good at keeping papers. Somewhere along the line, this one has disappeared. Yeah, it would just say that for the pleasure of the president. Albert Rene, my friend who came to shook my hands at the football pitch and then decided to sign my detention order to put me in jail, which was a bit, you know.
And the 75 to 80 people that you said were in jail,
Yes.
were they also detained at the pleasure of the president?
Yes, they did. They did. They had a detention order as well. But we were living in a cell. Some of the cells had 3 of us, some had 4. It depends what size. And then there were cells with 5 people in. And I think it was the condition of the prison, how they managed to cope with that.
And can I ask, you know, all those people detained, including yourself, at the pleasure of the president, have you any idea what sort of offences you or what risks you supposedly posed to have you?
They thought there was something because there were lots of rumors. There'll be another coup d'etat, attempted coup. They use this just for the sake of to be able to detain people and arrest people, to scare people. And I think in that situation, like I said before, there was this demonstration of the youngsters.
So there were demonstrations,
There were
in the streets?
In the streets.
Oh, was this in
before.
relation to the youth education?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because everything you were under dictatorship government. They do whatever they like. If you don't, they force you. This is what happened. And while we were in jail, we heard all sort of rumors. At one stage, they said they're going to move us on the island, some of the islands, separate islands. You got different islands here. We were told we were going to one of the islands, and we were so scared, but that never happened, never materialized.
And when you were told that it's best for you to leave the
I
Seychelles,
was told by the Minister of Defense.
the Minister of Defense.
Yes, Ogilvy Berry. Apparently, we used to be good friends, but
But why did he say it was best for you to leave? What would happen to you if you hadn't
I
left
don't
the
know.
Seychelles?
I don't know. Probably I could be killed or something would happen to me, because you know the story about what's been going on here with this commission that you're heading here. You will get a lot of information about how Seychelles were during that period, and it was so scary to leave. It was so scary to walk at night. Everywhere you go, you need to look behind your back and, you know, be careful. But I didn't stay long after I was released.
But
You know,
what-
after 2 weeks, I was
What
away.
made it so scary?
Because what's been going on, there were people being disappeared, beating up. There were lots of stories which I don't want to speculate or give you wrong information. With your job that you're doing now, I think you're in a better position to get all the information with other people, and then you can go around and find out, go to the archives. And in my case, I've been very vocal with newspapers. In 1990, I launched the first newspaper in UK concerning Seychelles and what was going on in the Seychelles, which was called the Seychelles International. So
I think you gave us some of the. Yes, you
a
did.
few of
yes,
them, but
yeah.
not all of
Not
them.
all of them,
I did
yeah.
all sorts of things because I never wanted to keep quiet about what was going on in Seychelles, because I lost a good friend. He was shot in 1985 on the streets in London, and since then I've been organizing mass for him every year. It was cruel. What happened to him, it could happen to me at the same time, because he used to come to my house every weekend, Saturdays. If he doesn't come on Saturdays, he come on a Sunday. We have lunch, we had laugh, and talked about what's going on, including Paul Chow as well. He used to be very friendly. And then November '85, he was shot in the street in London. If they manage to get you in London, you in Seychelles, they can do whatever they like to you.
Monsieur
This
Betsy.
is what happens. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Alice, continue.
No, it's all right.
Okay. Just two little questions for my own understanding. You were highly involved in sports at that time.
Very, very.
Were you a political activist at that time?
No, I've never been a political activist. This government forced me to become a political activist. I've never been a political activist. But when I was in UK after Joe Alwao was released, we started getting together. We thought it was something that can be done to save Seychelles. Like I said, this is why I started in 1990. I started that newspaper to tell the world what was happening in our small island country. So beautiful, a lot to offer for tourism. This is what I've been doing most of the time. Express my views and talk about tourism, how we can promote Seychelles. I've been here, I've been seeing ministers, and they didn't understand. They just see you and then you go off and that's it. They were taking more or less you for a fool, But at the end of the day, this is why I like this commission now. Hopefully, a few truth will come out and people can live freely in unity afterwards. But I wish that would happen. And I would prefer to see the people happy in Seychelles, not the way we were living at that time.
About your land, when you came back after the exile,
Yes.
did you see any minister according to your land problem?
No, I didn't get a chance to see any minister. I only saw Minister Charlotte. I was told by President Ford, like I said before, the only person that managed to respond to us was President Ford. He sent a letter saying that go and see Minister Bastien, but he never did. He didn't want to see us anyway. So in the end, I managed to see Minister Charlotte, just for briefly to explain what was going on, what was happening, because I went to see her. There were so many occasions I spoke to a young secretary at the housing department about my case. They say, oh, your case is with President Ford. We wait for 5-6 months to get a letter from him. But in the end, he did send us a letter saying, okay, go and see Minister Bastien, but we never saw him. But we managed to see Miss Charlotte. They said she would do whatever she could to help us, but up till now, nothing. But there again, there's lots of things you'll find out. I don't know what they're doing and why. I'm not after anything. I just want to see a closure with that. And if I've done wrong, they can prove I've done wrong. Okay? I have to accept that, because this is how sometimes there's arbitration and there's courts and whatever. We are happy to accept if I was wrong, but we think we were right. All the time we've been in touch with them to find out how we can pay that money. We took 45,000 rupees. If we need to pay back that'd be a problem. I don't know how much they made when they sold the land, how much they sold to the person who bought the land, how they managed to buy that land when my wife has already put a stop to it. You know, all these things, it's confusing. I just want to see an end to it, and whatever happened. I'm not after anything, but we deserve something, or a closure.
Well, were you informed in any way when the acquisition was done?
They don't inform us on that day. We only find out when my wife came here. We only find out about that.
Already been acquired by the time she came to bring the money.
She'll explain that to you,
she'll
because
explain, okay.
I don't want to speculate the wrong information, because that was her, because she came down here especially to deal with that case.
Okay.
You know.
I mean, were you given any reasons for the termination of your employment?
No, I showed you the 2 letters. You got a copy of it?
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah, there's nothing. It didn't tell you anything.
you were arrested.
Yes.
You'd already been given, you had your land, you'd been given a government loan, you were arrested, you went back to the office
Yes,
to continue with work,
Yes.
and then you were told
Yeah.
goodbye. No
No
reasons.
reason. Nothing. Up till this day, nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
This is why I'm trying to find out what have I done for me to be arrested, just because I'm a friend with someone.
Yeah.
Because you can't pick,
Did you try
choose.
asking them?
It was too late. When you had a Minister of Defense telling you, as soon as you can get out, get out.
Well, was that I just wanted to clear that one as well. Did he advise you to
Yes.
leave as a friend,
As a
or
friend,
as the
yeah, he
Minister
said as a
of
friend. Yeah, he said as a
Defense?
friend.
Oh, as a
you
friend.
yes.
Okay.
You better leave. So this is what I did. I had to leave my wife and my son Kevin. He was only 16 months old. I left them and went to UK. Like I said, thanks God I managed to restart my life again.
Okay. Was any of the other employees that worked with you arrested and dismissed? And no.
No, it was only myself.
Okay. So, and they accused you of making these pamphlets or being involved?
No. It's only Mr. Pillay that
Mr.
said,
Pillay
Commissioner
asked about
Pillay
the
said that.
pamphlets.
No one
Okay.
talked to me about the pamphlets.
Okay.
But also when I went back to work, I didn't had the chance. I was dismissed. Termination of my contract. So.
Mr. Betsy, thank you for your statement and the evidence you have given the Commission. You were presented a copy of a paper by Commissioner Pillay.
Yes.
Were you able to go through?
Not by Commissioner Pillay. This paper came from the President.
from President René.
René, yes.
Um,
It was signed by him.
Were you able to read
Yes,
what was the content about?
the content? Probably you'll be able to see it by someone else. Yes, I bet you Mr. Paul Charles should have a copy. It was the same to everyone. He just changed the name. On that, as far as I can remember, it says that for the pleasure of the president, you're allowed because you're a risk to the country. They should detain you until.
No, this is the paper of your arrestation,
Yes.
your being arrested.
Yes.
But were you able to read a copy of the paper which was printed?
No,
No.
never did. Commissioner Pillay just showed it to me. Do you know how this was done and all that? Because apparently that was something against the government of Seychelles, which I had nothing to do with it.
Will you be able to describe a day you spent in the prison? How was the day?
The days was the same every day. You look at the time, find out what time is it, and waiting for 6 o'clock or 5:30 for you to go and have your dinner, and then wake up in the morning. But a group of us, there were about 7 or 8 of us, because I was a footballer and Gerard was a footballer. We used to train every morning. So we take probably an hour, 2 hours, do exercises and sit-ups, press-ups.
So you were able to meet with your friends even
outside in the compound, yes.
Yeah.
So
And was there any practice? You said you were not abused.
no,
You were not abused, but did you hear
no.
from your colleagues, your inmates, that they were being abused as
No,
well?
I cannot say that because I didn't hear anything like that. My inmates was being beaten up. No. No. Yes. There was none of that as far what I was in, and I never got abused or nothing. But I was in jail though.
And you said that when you arrived in jail, Mr. Sikobo, who was your superior,
Yes.
was also arrested. Were you able to talk with him and to understand what was happening?
No, you're not allowed to talk to him. I never had a chance to talk to him. There's his picture as well. I put him there with Robert Frishaw while he was in charge. Look at the size of Robert Frishaw. He was one of my good friend, good lawyer. He was the chairman of the Rovers Football Club. I remember while I broke my leg while playing football against Everton. He used to come and visit me every weekend. This is why I got great respect for Robert Frishaw. But he was in the bad books as well. For Robert.
Do you think that your disagreement with the zoning of sports?
Yes, probably that could have something to do with it, and also because I was a good friend of Gerard Wao, you know. Apparently he's been accused of all sorts of things anyway, but I don't know. We were just friends. I don't know what he was doing or whatever. So he was a good friend. I was very friendly with his family as well, because where she used to live, they used to live at Hermitage. I used to live further, Fourenoir. Used to live at Hermitage. It's not far. I've been to see them almost every day. We were very close. Gerard went to Italy for his course. And when he got back, this is when we started the Rovers Football Club. I started with Rangers before, and then when Gerard came, because we were so close, then he asked me to come and play for Rovers. And then he made me captain, and we worked together since then. Our football was superb. We managed to beat a lot of teams, and even national team was very good. And now you see football these days, it's a sad situation. But there again, we need people to try and get together. If we're really serious about our beautiful place, people need to get together to try and save the country with these things that's going on here, the drugs and all the federations breaking up. It needs to change, and Seychelles needs to go further. I want to see it progress. I've got a son who was here a couple of months ago, not a couple of months, last month. He came from UK to help the youngsters in Seychelles. So I will always support him to do that because that's how I am and how we should be. We should live together happily and friendly. And now these days you go in town, you know yourself, people are not the same. And we're going a bit backward. Sorry I had to say that, I'm not against anyone, but we need to get a grasp of everything. The politicians should get together. I don't want to get into politics, but...
You were still in England, in London, when Mr. Gerard Waro was assassinated.
Yeah, I was supposed to meet him at 3 o'clock on that day, and he was shot at 11:30, something like that, just before 11:30. And on that day, I had a phone call from an Irish accent. You got better watch yourself, because you're going to be next. That morning, I was working for the Guardian newspaper. So there's a lot of things been happening in this country and even outside Seychelles. But especially in the case of Gerard Waro, with your job now, you can get lots of information about it. I was interviewed by Scotland Yard after
My
his
last
death
question.
because we were so close. I mean, yeah. I think my friend Paul Chow will give you a bit more about that. No, he knows a lot. He was a good friend of Gerard as well.
Yeah.
Very close. To lose a friend like that, it's just sad. Sometimes you feel like crying, but I'm not a person who cried, you know.
At the announcement of the death of Mr. Waro, what was the reaction of Seychellois diaspora in London?
Terrible. Everybody was... We went to the office. We had an office in... I think it was... I can't remember the name of that office. Ashford. Yeah, it was Ashford. We had an office there. On the night itself, everybody managed to get together, and then we organized the funeral. It was a terrible thing, and more or less this more or less put us more together to be able to do something to save Seychelles. Because apparently, I don't know if it's true or not. This is not my job to talk about this, but the Scotland Yard, they're doing their job to find out what really happened. Even up till now, they haven't closed the case yet. So they're still asking questions. I think it was last year or a couple of months ago, an Irishman was arrested by the name of Ian Wheelers. He was in Seychelles for a while here as well. He was the one apparently, how do you call this, spying on people in UK, including myself as well, but that doesn't bother me. It's a vicious circle, this. But sometimes, it's good to let the thing out. People hear what's happening, what's going on. At the same time, you don't want to speculate things that you don't know. Only saying these few things that, But there are more people, other people that can say more about this,
Thank you.
So can I just ask, so when you think your relationship with Gerard was behind your own arrest, was he politically active in the Seychelles?
Not me who think that, but
Yeah.
them. That was what the Minister of Defense told me.
And was Gerard politically active in the Seychelles
yes.
at that time?
No, I don't know in the Seychelles if he was politically active. We were playing football, that's what we did. The only thing we acted strongly about it when they were saying they were going to zone football, like if you stay in a district or you live in a district, you're going to play football only for that district. So we stood up and spoke about this. Seriously, because like I said, we were a very disciplined and organized football club. But we knew that the zoning of football, zoning of sports, you see the results now, what that's done to football.
So at that time, the only thing that you opposed or Gerard opposed was the zoning
There's only,
of football.
Yeah, that was it. And then we stopped playing as well. We didn't take part in it.
You mean the teams, Rovers
We
and
were shut
Rangers,
down. We're closed.
they finished off. I mean, they
Finished.
closed down
Closed down, yeah.
Because of the
All the
zoning.
clubs football
because
finished.
of the zoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, all the district like Montfleury, Gantans, Belair, Beauvallon, Glacy will have their own football team. Like I say, it will degrade football because in every district, it's only Montfleury and Saint Louis, they had a pool of players, but all the other teams throughout the islands, they were not good. That they can't field 11 players because we're not enough players.
But did other people also object? Was it only you and Gerard?
No, but
or
we were
other-
not only me and Gerard, but the whole team did agree with that. But some of the teams, they went to play in the zoning system. Again, as you can see now, I'm saying this because I know the sports has really gone really, really down. I'm not talking against anybody who works in sports or whatever. It's just that system that destroyed football completely. So I will stand up and say that every single day. They have destroyed football in Seychelles. It will take us 15, 20 years to get it like what we were while we were playing football in 78, 79. You know, all the results are there to see. You know, now you see the size of the players on the pitch. They don't exercise properly. They just turn up for football. It's a disgrace.
Were other people that objected to the zoning of football, were they also arrested?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Okay.
We were singled out. See,
As like you were the coach or you
I
were the
was the
captain.
captain, yes.
and
Yeah, I was the
as a
coach.
Okay. So you
because
were
we
the
were
leaders of
yeah,
them.
something like that. Yeah, we're classed in that situation. But there again,
Another question I wanted to ask you was how were you received when you came back to the Seychelles?
oh yes. Even now, everywhere I go, everybody I see, they, hi, Mr. Betsy, how are you? How are you doing? And to be honest, I never had any problem with anyone. Everybody remembers me because I was a footballer. And especially what Kevin did, he came to play football for Seychelles, I think, in 2011. And he won gold. We always talked about this at home. He said to me, Dad, you got silver and I got gold. You know, we just joked about it because we love our country, you know. While I was in UK, I've organized lots of things for the tourism and to get people together. So it's my nature. Can't change that, but there again, like I said, I'm very happy. I keep on praying. I think God kept me, you know, alive, and I'm enjoying life to the best, to the full, like they say.
That the government coming out from the military coup have been practicing the same as your situation, your context. A lot of people who went into exile saw their properties being sort of purchased by the state
Yes,
and
yeah.
then being sold to other people.
Yes, but some people who's from abroad now, they lost their land, they didn't get nothing, like myself. Not I'm after money or anything. I just want to say a closure and find out what really happened. How come you just take people's land and houses and then give it to somebody else or sell it for more money? I don't know what they've done, but there again, it's a very sad experience. It's very bad. And how they manage, this is why I asked the first question earlier. You know, these people managed to do this almost 40 years, and they've been getting away with it. Today, everywhere money is disappeared. No one knows what's disappeared and where it's gone. There were people who's been committing crime up to this day. They haven't been prosecuted or nothing. You know, I don't want to come here to talk politics, but there again, you got those FIU people. the Irish people who was here working, apparently a lot of money in the department has disappeared. We had 50,000 ahead on television, it's disappeared. Where? What's gone? $50,000 could help a lot of people. You know, things like that. I want this not to stop, but there again, politicians should try and find ways to deal with these things, you know, because we're honest people. We don't want to see our country going down the drain that way. So if we can rebuild it for the benefit of everyone, we'll be happy and everybody will have a better place to live in.
And is somebody, the land you had, is somebody living on that land now?
Yeah, yes, I heard so. But there again, like I said before, I'm not after the land back. I'm not after getting people out of the house. I just want to find out, to know how they managed to take that land. Okay, if I was not paying, my wife came to pay for the 10,000 rupees they've asked us. And that's as far as we're concerned. We were dealing with the government non-stop to try and clear the thing,
Right.
to get our land back. It would have been, when we bought this land, it was something really good. You know, you buy somewhere to stay, to bring up your families and all that. So all that disappeared like a pack of cards. It just, it hurts people, you know.
I think my question would be reserved for your wife later on.
Yes, of course.
When your case, you went to see Bernard Georges.
My wife did not.
Yeah. This is why I said I would like to reserve my
Yes, of
question for
course. Yes.
for your wife later.
Yes. Yes, she went to see Bernard, so it's not me. But there again, you know, it's there's nothing I'm after. But there again, you guys and the government, they are the people who make decisions. But it's really bad what they do. They could have done it to about 50, 30 people, and it's really bad for the country. It shouldn't be run like that. This is why I always say, all right, I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to express my views, my concern. You know, I don't like the way they've done this, so therefore I express my views. And to this day, I always express my views, so I will carry on to do so. Because I want to see the people live happily ever after. I wish, but
In the documents that you provided us, there was a letter that you wrote to the Housing Development Corporation Legal Counsel
yes,
on 8th of July 1993
yes,
and asking for some extra time
yes,
to settle
yeah.
the
Yeah,
sum.
we did then. We did then. Yeah.
Did they respond to that letter at all?
No, we never respond to
never
that.
responded.
Not that I know of, unless you manage to find a copy
Well.
somewhere in there. Thing.
We're finding it's very hard to find any files in the Seychelles, right? But we will try to see if we can.
Of course,
we have asked for documents from the
Yeah.
Seychelles.
That's what I like to see, you know, because
Yeah.
if you go to a lawyer to say you put a stop to something, and then they bypass that lawyer, what's going on? Then they go and possess the land. Like I said, I'm not after anything. I just want to find out what's really happened to the land, you know. But if need be, I should be compensated for that. If I'm in the wrong, no. But if I didn't do nothing to deserve that, I lost everything. Lost my job, lost my land, and I had to go and live abroad all these years, you know. Like I said, I've been very fortunate and very lucky to have my son and my daughter doing what they are doing now. We're happy, but it could have went the other way around.
I mean, from the documents that we've found, I think you provided most of them to us actually. So the land was in your name until 27th of November 1987, and then it was registered with the Seychelles Housing Development Corporation.
Yes.
But then you were in negotiations with them after, in 1993,
Yeah.
to
Because,
take that land
like I said,
back.
because in 1991,
Yeah.
this is when the time Albert Rene announced that people living abroad, this is the time when we could come back here. At one stage, I came down in 92, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I've stayed for, I think, 6 months to just under a year, was in Seychelles. But there and then we were trying to work something out. So probably with your research, you'll be able to find out exactly when that land was repossessed and how they managed to sell it and how much they sold the land. There should be a record for that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think
This is what I'm trying to find out. you
I
see.
think they sold it for 80,000 rupees.
Is that all?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what I see here, if my documents are correct. And that
But do
was,
they know how much that land worth now?
yeah, that was in 1994. I mean, it was, you were in,
80,000.
yeah, that's what it says. Yeah, 80,000.
Then you know the size of the land, the plot. I got a copy, I think.
I think we've got a copy of it,
Yeah?
yes,
It's huge.
yeah.
I think I got a copy of
yeah.
that land to sell.
8,000 square meters, isn't it, the land?
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, an
80,000
acre.
rupees.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
I
so-
don't think that's true. But they sold it to
Yeah.
a friend then.
Yep.
That's what happened. They just transfer it to a friend. Anyway, like I said, it's a pity. And it's a pity and it's really sad. But do they stated when they sold that land? Which date?
Oh, I've got here a transfer of land dated 6th of April, 1994.
You
The
see?
Seychelles
You see?
housing.
For
Yeah.
all these years, that land has stayed there.
Yes, yes.
Until my wife just after, it's crazy. I don't know. Someone should search into that, how you manage to get that done like that, in that way. Because my
mean-
wife came down with the 10,000 rupees to pay for it.
Yeah. It was very close, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something strange, fishy, in other words.
Is there anything else you would like to say to the panel
No, I
before
say
we...
thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank
To
you.
listen to what I had to say, even I had more to say, but it's nothing to say. It's nothing to do with this thing. Politically, I've got a lot to say, but not today.
Sounds intriguing, right?
Yes, but then again.
Yeah. So we were due to... Do you want to adjourn now and come back a little earlier? Is that okay with everyone if we adjourn now and come back in half an hour? So we'll come back at 11:15. Okay, and then we will hear the testimony of your wife, Juliana. So we are now adjourned, and we'll be back at 10:45. Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Bye,
Mr. Betsy.
everyone. Thank you.
you. Bye. Could you please call the next witness?
Second witness, Mrs. Juliana Betsy.
I, Juliana Betsy,
Swear that the evidence I shall give
swear that the evidence that I shall give
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Check that. Thank you, Mrs. Betsy. The Commission is extremely grateful to you for your willingness to come forward and give evidence in relation to the complaint that was filed by your husband, but equally affected you. Please take your time in giving your evidence. We understand that sometimes it's difficult. And if you need to break at any time, just let us know and we're happy to accommodate you. So please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Where would you like me to start?
You can start at what for you is the beginning, I
The
think.
very
is-
beginning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a few things that obviously Louis omitted to say to the Commission, and I would like to clarify. On the day he was arrested, it was a Tuesday. But before that, which was the Saturday, I think it was probably the 15th, my sister, Carlette Ball, Natal of Saint Louis, was arrested for the second time in her life. 3 police officers came to the house at Saint Louis where she was staying with the children after her husband, Hassan Ali, had disappeared. She was very vocal, asking Albert René, who was in power, what has he done to the husband? Khaled came out of the door when he saw the police officers. She said, have you come for me again? And the only thing they said, they shook their head. Because a couple of months before that, when it was her first arrest, Ogilvy said to her that she will not be arrested again. He was trying to make alternatives for her to leave the country, to go and live in Australia, but that never materialized. Why Australia? Why England? What have we done? Seychelles is our country, belongs to the Seychellois people. We were born and bred here by our mothers and fathers. We were taught the right from wrong. I had a son, Kevin, the age of 18 months. Khaled went down in the mini-moke with the 3 officers and took her straight to the police station. The boys stayed with the family at Saint Louis. Since Hassan had been disappeared, Khaled came to live with the family at Saint Louis because she couldn't live in her own home at La Louise because she was always being taunted by them, the SPUP, and the army, and Dofe, and Lika, and Sung Loi, and the rest. These people can never be forgiven for what the atrocities they have done to this country. It's unforgivable. Just for the fact that Louis was a good friend of Gérard, a friend in football. On the Monday, Louis went up to the house at La Misère to plant some trees, some lemon trees. We bought the land from the mission for 7,000 rupees at the time. The land was very cheap for us to build a house for ourselves and our family. This was taken away from us. Our dignity. This country has done terrible things. This government in power must go. They've done so much damage to this country and so much hurt. Hey, people hate each other. We were not like this. We were peaceful people. And they were the one who started all that, throwing stones, arresting people. Albert Renes and his thugs, all of them who committed treason with their coup d'etat. They must never live to think that we, the people that were arrested, tortured, terrorized, will ever forgive them. I, for once, will never forgive them. Never! That Monday, after Luis came back, at 7 o'clock. The next morning, I was going, Gerard had already been arrested, but I was going up to the prison because we were good friends asking me to bring some clothes, some shorts and T-shirts. I went up, Carlette was already arrested, so I had to bring some comfortable things for her as well, like pillows. Every time I go up, those army boys were saying, sa femme n'arrive là encore. Mon poids arrive là toujours, jusqu'en l'air ou là avec mon sœur, ou là avec mon ami, ou là avec mon mari. Ça m'a fait les autres comptes bien ça. I went up that morning at 8 o'clock to bring Carlette's clothes. Every morning I went up to the prison. But going back to Louis' arrest, I had just come back from that day when he called me. And he said to me, I've been arrested. And I said, what? He said, yes, they're taking me. He didn't know where they were going to take him because some detainees were coming straight to with James Pile to the Central Police Station. And he didn't even mention to me that he had 2 guns in his back. So they, Unionville radio station was just there at Unionville. So they just drove straight from Unionville right up to the prison. Even prisoners get a chance to go to court. He didn't. It didn't take him for questioning that day. Question for me for what? So he went up to prison. So when he called me, I left my work, I left everything. Because where my office was at Victoria House, I used to see all the prisoners going up and down. I thought he would come down to the police station. So I went straight to the police station. I saw Chit More was the one that they used to call him because he was masterminding all arrest people and trying to question them with James Pile. So I saw him at the top. Mochizou, li tout sa zou. Mon demande li, oli mon mari. He paget moi li. He didn't look at me. One of the CID that was in the police station said to me, they've taken Louis straight to the prison. I said, what? Anyway, I went straight to his Mamat Le Mamel, and I said to her, I said, they have arrested Louis. But for her, I don't know what she thought or what, because she supported this government. The whole family supported SPUP. Louis was the only one out of the family that supported Montcalm because he used to work at the Weekly and do the newspaper of the Weekly. So he supported Montcalm all his life. My family, the Toll of Saint Louis, supported Montcalm all our lives. We were not ashamed. We were happy to support Montcalm because we believed in him. I went back to the prison. I got the clothes and I went back to the prison and I gave the clothes. Luis had never done anything wrong for him to go to prison. Prisoners who commit crimes goes to prison. He had not committed any crime. The whole life his mom and dad had taught him the right and wrong ways of don't steal, don't kill. But he was put in prison because he believed that this, what they were doing to this country, because he was a footballer, he wanted to play in he didn't want to play in a zoning system. Who gave them the right to tell him which friends he's going to be talking to? No, nobody gives you that. You choose your own friends. Every day, I go up and down to bring clothes for him until he's released. And also for Gerard, and also for my sister Carlette. And I didn't stop. One day, these people didn't even know how to use, some of them didn't even know how to use a rifle, an AK-47, but they were there just frighten people with it. I was not scared of them. I'm still not scared of them, and I never will be scared of them. So one day, I asked my friend, who was my best friend at the time. I thought she was my best friend. Kevin was asking for her dad, for his dad. So I said, is there a chance that I could go maybe get me a pass for me to, ask Ogilvy, because she was with Ogilvy at the time, Ogilvy Beelui, the thug, the terrorist, to give me a permission for me to get Kevin to see Luis. I was granted that permission. She talked to Ogilvy. Ogilvy said yes. So I went and I saw Luis. But when I got there, there was Sikobo, Superintendent Sikobo, was taking notes. So if I knew that this was what's going to happen, I wouldn't have bothered. But they needed to say, exactly what I was saying, what Luis was, was telling me. So and Kevin fell asleep during that time, even though he had asked to see his dad. On a different occasion, when I was working at the Victoria House, Luis used to be friends with Ogilvy because they grew up together at Kogat Estate. They were next door neighbors. So that's how they knew each other. But I didn't know him. I knew him as a person who used to live at Anse Royal. The atrocities they have committed in this country is just unreal. The day, I remember very clearly, I was in town, office, Victoria House. I was looking for my keys for me to open the office. Albert René's car, a non-compatriot, Lika Sungloy, all went up to the State House because I was down below. I was about to go to the post office. I saw him go up. Anyway, I was looking in my purse for me to say, and I said the word, a swear word, that I'm looking for my keys. Sung Loy and Lika saw me swearing. Didn't know why I was swearing. When they went back down on their return journey, They kept going like this to me, pointing their fingers at me. I said, what do you want? I wasn't scared of them. I said, what do you want? The next thing I knew, I was summoned up to Ogilvy. I went up. When I got there, he said to me, this morning, I understand you swore at President Albert René when he went up. I said to him, well, this morning, that's when Sung Loy and Lika, your spies, told you that? And I said, no. Albert, mon pas encore zouré. Mais où mon zourou, tous les beaux matins, là où monter si mon waouh. Mon dit, mon papa arrêté jamais zourou. And then I said, what have you called me for? Is that what you've called me for here? He said, yeah, I just wanted to clarify. And then I'm going to show you these letters, and they were letters that had Gérald's signature on it and all that. What can you tell me about those, about those leaflets that's been in circulation? I said, leaflets? I said, what leaflets? He said, oh yeah, there's been leaflets, and Louis has been implicated in having done those leaflets and spreading those leaflets around in town, Rifotel and everything else. I said, oh, really? I said, but maybe you should ask Albert René that. He said, why are you saying that? I said, maybe he's doing it, and for him to get the opportunity to arrest people, therefore that's what he does. Spread rumors, spread lies, spread everything like they normally do, and then start arrest for them to get a chance to arrest people. I said, none your chance have come, so you're arresting people and you don't know. And I said, there's another thing. You call me here, of course, Gérard works with you. Gérard Wawo works with him as an immigration officer. So you will get his signature on every letter. So what are you talking about? So he didn't have any other words to tell me. He said, oh no, Louis has got to be very careful who he associates himself with his friends. I said to him then, you will not tell me or tell Louis what friends he's going to have. He will choose his own friends. I said, but he's your friend too. He is your friend too, because you used to work, next door neighbor. So he shouldn't be a friend of yours? You were not his best friend. Gérard was his best friend, but he was a friend of yours because you grew up together. You forget where you were born. You forget who you associated yourself with. So in the end, he knew he wasn't going to get anything out of me. So his last words to me, he said, oh, I hope you'll be able to work with us one day. I said, over my dead body. Tall family of Saint Louis has only one principle in life. We stick to our principles. Ou principe, ou pas être jamais de caca. Ou keep your principles. Your principle is intact. That's what I told him. Pas jamais pas un principe zet dans caca. And I walked off. And I said, next time you start bringing people across to State House, get your facts right. So he said to me, so you didn't swear at President René? I said, no, not yet. I said, but you, yes. He said, oh, moi kui Sung Loy. On dit, l'amène tout là, mais si vous voulez. Anyway, he called Sung Loy. He came in, I said, did you know what I said? And who I said it to? I said, this is where rumors and people start being arrested because of people like you. Idiots, I told him. I said, I'm not afraid of your gun. I said, you can shoot me. One day I'll die anyway. So if you shoot me now, my kids will be brought up, my child will be brought up by my family. because we were a united family and we're still a united family. The problem with this government is they don't want people to talk. They never wanted people to associate having a little groups, a little meetings. No, that was kizot pekoze, spying on people every now. My sister Carlette had to come and live with us because he was afraid in that house at La Louise. But you know what? We did not have peace in our own home. We had militia from La Serret Road. I know him very well. He was a militia, il travaille pour PWD. Il fait hommes libres. He was the one every night at our house. Every time he finished work, he come and snoop what we're talking about. In the end, what we used to do is do sign language. We learned how to sign language because we knew he was outside. We were, at some point, frightened for our lives, No doubt about that. Because they intimidated us. They thought they could take all our minds and maybe screw it up so that we don't have a mind for us to think. But God gave us one thing: courage, determination, like I've just seen this. Déterminé. Nous déterminés. Qu'ils ont parti pour prendre l'esprit, pour mettre dehors, comme si pour destroy us. That is one thing they couldn't do it. When Louis left, Louis used to work with one other guy in printing, George Sikobo, who was his boss. He was also arrested. He obviously forgot. Max Racambeau, who was a friend of his in the football, he was also arrested. In prison, they took, apparently what was said, he obviously didn't, they didn't torture him or anything. But one of the Moussa's boys, Hassan Ali's boy, they put chili sauce in his throat. If he comes ever here, he might say, but he might not. But that was what was said. And the first time they went to prison, they got food from Pirates' Arms. But after a week, they stopped. They were given food like any prisoners. Bouillon bread. Some of them had cockroaches in there. You have to eat. Cockroaches or no cockroaches. Bouillon bread or not bouillon bread. Ou pour manger, ou besoin manger, ou la faim. We were lucky at one or two times. We were able to sneak one or two things to the people who felt so sorry for the prisoners, like maybe a piece of bread or something to the prisoners. Louis' boss, also there was a second in charge, Louis Copal. He was the one who pointed, he's an SPUP to the core. He pointed, him and Maxime Reynaud pointed a finger when they arrested him. Who he, take him to where he was in the printing department. And they laugh after he went. Get into the van. And James Pileli every day when I come down, because I don't know if Luis is ever going to come down, while I'm going up to the prison, some prisoners were coming down to go and be interrogated. Did you see this paper? My God, it's a piece of paper, if there was one. You afraid of a piece of paper? Come on, Alberini, you and your thugs, afraid of a piece of paper? So why the hell did you take this country by force? Like Ferrari dit avant hier, dans autres, whisky avec Panadol. And was it Panadol? Lequel qui peut believe ça? Not me. James Pillay asked me one day if I had seen, Luis was still in prison, if I had seen the paper. I said to him, why are you afraid of a piece of paper? Are you afraid of a shadow? You guys took over power by force. So what is a piece of paper going to, you got the guns because you took everybody's guns on the day of the thing. You said everybody who had pistol or, now this is the whole reason we've got a lot of bats climbing the trees because the people who had guns was always going to bat hunting. So everybody had to surrender their little, whatever they had, their pistol or whatever they had. So we didn't have guns. Him and his army had guns. We had nothing to fight. We could have fought with knives, bangon, couteau. But we never wanted to create problem for our country, for our brothers and sisters. But we were angry. We were very angry. Dr. Ferrari, what he did, he got very angry with us, with my mom and the whole of family when we lived at Saint Louis. During the election, that was before, and David Zuber was his opponent, and David Zuber beat him, won the election in the district. So my mom took a white horse. God knows where my mom had that horse. Got that white horse and a little black boy, like a toy boy, right on his back, on the back of that horse. Because we were Mancam supporters through and through. Dr. Ferrari went up that day, saw that. My God, he could have gone like this. He could have turned his head off. When he saw them, he struck us off his register at the hospital. My dad one day woke up and he had a toe. His toe was hurting. So he went to the hospital. When he got there, because he had gone quite massively, had swollen up and it was all red, he went to the hospital and they admitted him. He was there for 3 weeks and nothing. He had high fever, gangrene was coming up and everything. And Dr. Ferrari was up and down watching. He used to do his rounds every day. He saw my dad, talked to my dad. My dad was a nice man. Because even though at that time you were SPUP, you were democratic, but we still, brothers and sisters, we still were friends. There was not this division like that we have now. And that day, he kept saying we were waiting for chloroform for Dad to have his amputation because the way the gangrene was going right up So we waited. He said there was no chloroform in the country. We had a hospital that didn't have chloroform. So one of my sisters, who was working at the tracking station, spoke to one of the doctor and explained the situation, and he gave some chloroform for my dad's leg to be amputated. He amputated quite high, so he was afraid even to use any means of other stuff because he was very active. My dad was a police officer. People were, when you say M'Chetol, Saint Louis, you know, they were afraid of him because he used to beat them up too. So his life was over. I blame Ferrari for it, because I'm sure you can't leave a person, don't tell us that you don't have chloroform in a hospital, but we got it. So my dad would have died then. But 18 months later, with my dad not doing anything, not going anywhere, he's lost his second leg. So he got a wheelchair from one of the boyfriend of my sister from a tracking station, where he could literally just sit outside the veranda and just look up and down. Everybody was up and down. So finally, because of the non-circulation of the blood, it went to his heart. So he had a heart attack. My dad was still a strong man, very, very strong. And like he said, si moi t'en a mon les pieds, ça ban couillon pardon du respect parti pour en arrivé. But unfortunately, he would have gone on in town. He would have done. Maybe he would have been shot then at the time anyway. Who knows? But my sister, we watch her with us as a family at Saint Louis after Hassan disappeared. I'll go on to how I remember what happened, and she will then tell you in her own words. We saw her struggle with the 3 kids. As a family, we help. Nous mangeons diri, nous mangeons poisson. We all had to eat the same. Mom was there, my other sisters, my brothers, my other brother, my sister-in-law, and all the family. We slept around, like mattresses and everything, so we could protect each other with those thugs outside every night. But you know what? As a unite family, we were strong. We held our head high. Very high. My sister Carlette suffered a lot under this regime. Twice arrested, twice released. And when she started talking, asking what have they done to Hassan, you know, at the first arrest, they wanted to silence her. But again, she's a brave woman. Very brave. I take my hats off to her. Bringing the kids, 3 children, was not easy for her. She was told, and was Louis, for your security risk for the country, you must leave. Ogilvy was the one who told her and told Louis. But you know what? As a united family, we managed. I feel guilty every day of my life. That had I not spoken to Hassan that morning of the Saturday and asked him, can I borrow the car for me to go to a dance, because I didn't have a car, because it was far at La Misère going up. Maybe he wouldn't have driven up to give me the car, and he wouldn't have lost his life. And the kids would have not lost their dad. I carry this burden with me every day of my life, because it was me who spoke to him at his shop and asked him if I can borrow the car. Every Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock, he used to come home to see mom, dad, family. We sit down, we have a laugh, we play cards, we play domino. He said to me, when we come at 3, at the house, I'll bring the car, and then you can come down with us and, drop us at the house, and you can take the car. That day it was raining, so he didn't come. It was up to till 6 o'clock, just before 6 o'clock. He didn't turn up. My sister didn't come. I went to my sister-in-law, just at the house. I rang him. I rang the house at La Louise, and I asked if you're coming up to bring the car. He said to me, yes, I'm coming. I'll come. But from 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock, there was a car parked just outside the house where we lived at Saint Louis, just a little bit further down. There's a what do you call this? Electric pole, where there's like a little lay-by, where now they've put all the saltella, the bins, they put the bins there. Lina Bonlam sat in that car with a walkie-talkie. From 3 o'clock, right through till 6 o'clock. At one stage, she moved the car away. She went somewhere, didn't know where. Then she came back. But at the time, we didn't know if we were being watched or not. So I didn't even know if we were being watched. At some point, someone told me, after Hassan disappeared, that Lina Bonlam went to Beauvallon at a guest house to see a friend. And around 5:30, she left because she had a call. That was obviously when they were watching, apparently, from what we understood. Lina was stationed at our house, and there was somebody else stationed at Hassan's house, at La Louise. Hassan was vocal, very vocal. He was a strong man.
I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when we have hearings, we can't name people as implicated in crimes without that person having been given an opportunity to answer that allegation beforehand. So the lady that you have just named as being involved in the disappearance, we can no longer take any evidence in relation to that issue. We will have to contact that lady and allow her the opportunity to answer that allegation.
Of course.
Thank you.
So when I rang Hassan, he never turned up. So I thought, well, if I go down, if I keep walking down, when I got to where he disappeared, I saw his car. The radio was on. I was the first one there. The radio was on, his slippers was outside. So I went back home and I rang my sister. I said, I've just seen Hassan's car, but there's no Hassan. He's not there. His slippers is there. The radio is on, but he's not there. So we then started doing a search for him, but in vain. When my sister got to our house, which obviously she will, when she gives her own, she will explain her version. But there was someone who came to our house at midnight. It's funny, this guy lived in Béolier, and the curfew was on. And that guy had come from Béolier right through our house, all very puffed up, like, scared. He was, perspiring. And he told us, oh, we've just heard the bad news. I've just heard the bad news. Let's go and start looking for him. Then he asked for him to go to the toilet. I just had an English. I said to my brother then, can you follow this guy? Why he's come all the way from Béolier within a curfew, where you're not allowed to roam around. He's been able to do that. So he stayed with the family, but I was very cautious about this guy, because I knew him from Beauvallon, from his family, but I never circulated with him. We didn't have communications or anything like that. That is my version of what I know when my sister was arrested, when Luis was arrested, and when they were both released on the same day. I just had a call to say he's at the police station. They were both at the police station being released. No charge, nothing. He couldn't get back his job. He couldn't work at night. He had to be home at 6. We all lived at Saint Louis. So he had to make sure he had to be there. But his best friend, Gérard, I continued going up and down that prison to bring clothes for him, because he was on his own here. His parents were in South Africa. His brother Owenwa had been arrested previously the first time. So he didn't have anyone. So I went up, took his clothes, and James Michel kept saying, James Pire kept saying, sa famille en tête, oui, on peut en pays, et coup d'état, mon point tête jusqu'à moi mort. When Louis left for England, we were grateful. He had his sister and his brother-in-law who took him. He left. We didn't, even the family at Saint Louis didn't know he was leaving. Went to town. We didn't have money because we had put some of our money into the house that we were building at La Misère. His dad went to borrow 4,000 rupees from Madame M. Nazon de l'Étang of Les Marmelles, because he used to work there. And he told Louis, mon petit, allez, bon Dieu, portez-vous. But then we gathered as a family a bit of money here, and I said to him, go. My mom came home, sort of, from town in the evening and said, where's Louis? I said, Mom, Luis had to go because he was going to be arrested again for the second time because I was going up and down the prison. I was getting some food across to them with some of the police officers also who felt, not the police officers, the police warden, they felt sorry for the guys, so they were bringing some food. Some of them were also dismissed in their job because they were helping some of the boys there. I didn't have any money then. By the time Luis had gone, my mom said, we will survive the way we are until you can leave. So I stayed with mom and the family. So I then started to sell my furniture, and I had a car. Sold my car. And I started walking. Something, I'm not quite sure what happened. One day I was working at the Victoria House. I had 16 ans, CID, Baker, came to my work and asked me for her to check the typewriter. I said, what for? She said, we need to find out more information about what that paper in circulation. If you had any part in it, did you do anything? Did you help? I said, so you start with me now? Anyway, she checked the typewriter. There was nothing in it. And then I said to her, I will leave Seychelles soon. But Seychelles is so small, so people knew that I had put my car for sale, and I had a buyer. So she went, and she said, what, are you escaping? I said, yeah, because Luis has been a non grata in his own country, so I have to go and be with him. So the Seychelles embassy had given me visa in my passport for the UK. But Ogilvy rang he said, oh, when is she leaving? Because we understand she sold the car. And that's a friend of mine who was working there told me. And said, oh, she'll be leaving soon, but we're not quite sure. I went straight away after we packed all the money we had together. And I sold things, and people never paid me. Up to this day, never got any money. But I had to make sure I had enough to pay my and Kevin's fare, and a little bit of money to get me by until I get to England. We didn't have money. We had peanuts, I would call it. Anyway, we left, Kevin and myself, we left at midnight, sort of 8 o'clock. I was scared as well, even though they had said, yes, we can leave. I was still scared they would stop me at the airport, stop me from leaving. I remember there was a lady in the plane. Now I can't remember her name. She was married to an English. We got talking, me and Kevin, with Kevin. She said to me, oh, you're going to England, you're going to visit family? And I said, yes, my husband is there. And Luis was waiting with my other sister, that was in England at the airport. I said, but I'm scared that when I get to UK, they won't allow me to go in, even though, but the British High Commission had advised me when I get there, if Louis had already not applied yet for political asylum, declare myself there at the airport. Because you are prisoners of conscience as far as we, the British High Commission. So she said, you know, have you got a handkerchief? I said, yes. He said, do knots in your handkerchief, like tie knots, like 10 times knots, and then start praying. Mon faisez-vous salut Marie, pleine de grâce, jusqu'à moi arrive l'Angleterre. Ça, qui sa gouvernement corrompu, qui fait créole mon nation. But when I got to UK, Kevin saw Louis and just let go of my hand, just ran. We were grateful, Louis' sister and brother-in-law, to take us in. What we had, we ate, until we had a very nice lady at the Amnesty International who helped us do our asylum status. Told us where to go to get some money. We were getting £45 a week, £35 a week at the time for the family. Luckily, we didn't have anywhere to pay. But we paid £10 to Louis' sister. And, you know, we had to, you know, we used to buy a little bit of food. But I didn't have any more money coming in. That was it. That's my stay in the UK. Until 18 months later, because at the time when you first get to UK, you're not allowed to work, don't get a work permit, until your asylum status is granted. Those ones that came behind us, when we opened the doors to some of the people that came to UK to ask for asylum status, they were given money straight away, but we were not. They could work. We waited 18 months later. I thank the UK government for looking after us, but I will never thank the Seychelles government, because they destroyed part of my life and my family. I am bitter, very bitter, Father. I even went to a priest here, and he said to me, ma fille, prends dans la vie pour forgive. Je dis non, mon poète. Non, mon père. Pas pour forgive, jamais. Forgive, pas un mot qui dans mon vocabulaire. I just cannot. Because for me, they not only arrested Louis and sent us into exile, they arrested my sister twice because he was asking where his co-husband was. I lost my brother-in-law, the father of my nephews, and Louis and myself, we lost a very best friend in England. Gerard Awa was gunned down in front of his house by bullets, like he was a criminal. How could I ever bring myself to forgive them? And after we established ourselves in UK, they never, the guy who mastermind, Gerard was allegedly mastermind Gerard was killings, was on the first plane back to Seychelles. And while he was here, someone showed us some photos after we came back to Seychelles in 1993, after multi-party. Our house was watched, and the pictures, we were shown pictures of our house where we lived. So they didn't leave us all alone. No, never. Why? For the love of our country? What love did you have for our country? To put us, your own people, in jail. Why? You're afraid of a piece of paper in circulation. You're afraid of people talking, having a little gathering here and a little gathering there. Really? You had the guns. We didn't have guns. So why be you afraid of these little groups? Now I'm going to come regarding my land, our land. We fought for us to have our land back. Louis might be a very forgiving person. I'm not. I think, for me, I suffered probably more than he did. He always said to me, oh, you need to change your mindset. You need to try and forgive, try and move on. I just can't. It's not in me. How can I forgive? The day I came back after 1993, after they said to us in a letter by this Indian chap, lawyer, that we could come back and give 10,000 rupees so that our land could be transferred back to us. The land had been, they had repossessed the land because we borrowed 45,000 rupees from the government. How can we give any money back? We started paying, we hadn't finished taking that, which is okay, we borrowed the 45,000. How many other people that I know came back, today they've got their land back. They got not their land, but they were given another plot, and they were given money. Many got that. Why should I have been here all this time to fight Alberini? You know you've taken that land. I came back, you said, with this, I remember coming back here on a Thursday morning. I went straight to this lawyer, Ram, whatever his surname is. He was the solicitor, the lawyer of HSDC, which was the government solicitor, the lawyer. And he said, no, I can't accept any money. I said, but we've been told to come in and deposit 10,000 rupees by Mr. Dofe at the time, who was also working there. Then the land will be transferred back to us. He said, no. The land's already been transferred to the government, so you're not going to be, we can't do anything about it. I said, but why did we get that letter then? So I said, okay, so he said, oh, go and see Dolo Inesta, which he was the minister at the time. So I said, okay, so I'll make an appointment. So I went into Independence House and I asked the lady, can I have an appointment to see Dolo Inesta, who was at the time the Minister of Land. He gave me, that was the Friday that had just arrived, so he gave me the following week, on the Thursday, an appointment. in the meantime, I'd gone to see Bernard Georges, and I said, put a stop on anything, for them to do anything more on that land. So he done. There's stamp on that document. When I walked in his office, Dolo Nesta's office, the guy, for the whole, it could be 10 minutes probably he gave me, never lifted his head to even acknowledge me. He kept his head just like that. One word came out of his mouth. But your son didn't want to come and live here. And I said to him, what has that got to do with my son? Our land has got nothing to do with our son. The money is here with me. We want to give that money just as been advised, and the property will then be transferred back to us. He said, no, it's been transferred to the government, like. He then stepped out, and he told the lady at the reception, give Madame Betsy a form, rempli, a form so that I can then apply for another plot of land. So you knew you were guilty, you're taking people's land, then you're asking me. I said, where are you going to give me land? I said, you can stick it. So I walked off. Why, I did. Because this was my land. Not where you were going to put me. I chose that land because I knew it was a good area. And I bought it from the RC mission. Now you're going to maybe ask me to pay again? The Monday, someone said to me, I think it was my sister who said to me, go and see the registrar. And I went to see, as I got into the registrar's office at that time, there was massive amount of files on his desk, obviously for him to go through it on a day-to-day basis. And he said to me, Madame Betsy, your file is on top, has just come on my desk for me to sign, but not to give your property back to you, but to transfer it to somebody else. And I said, are you privy to give me that information? He said, yes, it will be transferred to Serge Monti. He was the construction company who was working for HSDC. All the contracts he will get. So wherever there was nice land, and that's when he actually bought it for probably now I've just heard he bought it for 800,000 rupees, says Mochi. It's on my thing.
The figure that is mentioned here is 80,000.
80,000, okay, sorry. 80,000. But he these days, all them days, used to just make up, he could have bought that, but I don't know if he sold it for millions, I understand, or he still lives in it. But that's a scam between him and Dolo Nesta. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Again, I have to say these are allegations
Yes, it's
that
allegations,
have not been
yes.
put to people. And it's just a due process concern that allegations are made against people. They have to have had an opportunity to respond to those allegations before they're made.
My apologies.
Thank you. No worries.
Louis wrote letters to Albert René, James Michel, never got a response for them to look into this. Not a sausage, like the English would say. Then when Danny Faure came into power. He wrote back. He was the only one who acknowledged that letter. I don't know if he read it, if he read the file or didn't read the file or what happened, but he acknowledged receiving copies of the file and then asked us to he's referred it to Minister Bastien, who was then. Phone calls. No, he's never there, he's never there. Your case is still at State House. He's never there. Can't find the file, can't find the file. There's no file, there's no file, there is a file. So we kept coming up and down. Luis had a file. He had copies. He said, if you don't have a file, I've got copies, I can give you the file. And then in the end, when Bastien was no longer there, he said, refer to Mrs. Charlotte. I think Luis managed to speak to Mrs. Charlotte. I think he said, oh, we'll look into it. But when every time I go there, since January when I came down, I kept going there. There's a nice lady there at the ministry and said, the file is still at State House. This file is still at State House. We've asked for the file. We've asked for the file. But nothing. We gave a copy of our file to you, the Commission. We also gave a file to Athanasius that supposedly be looking at all this. But are we ever going to get a result of what happened to our file? I don't think so. What I can say is, Seychelles has been divided. The country has been divided since 1977. This is where the division is. How we will put this division and have peace in this country, God only knows. There's a lot of people that hate each other. The word hate is a massive word, but I hate all of them that took part the coup d'etat in June 1977. Because that's when all the problems started in this country. I don't believe we were, we had tiffs, one will throw stones, one will throw this, but we were never divided as a country like we are now. I would like, but this is not in the hands of the Commission, to see them bring or drag them to court and charge all of them for treason. But it won't happen. For now, I am grateful for you to want to let the people of Seychelles, the young ones who didn't know the story of this country. This is the true story. Not the book, not this book, not the other book. This is the story. In one of the book, Dr. Ferrari said, coup d'etat t'amène la diarrhée. But for him, he shit, sorry for the word, maybe he carried it and he stuck it somewhere in the toilet. But for us, our caca, like la diarrhée for us, was with us every day of our lives. We didn't have anywhere to put it because we were scared. But with our dignity, and my mom, I mean, Luis is a strong man. He kept saying to me, we need to beat this. Always preaching me, forgive him. I've said to him, I cannot and will not forgive them. He lost a friend, which he was going to see at 3 o'clock. That same day he was gunned down. His friend, he played football with. This country lost a hero, a good friend. They didn't kill him at the time he did, and he hadn't gone to the doctor or dentist, he could have had the bullet as well. Because he was going to the house to go and meet him. So how can he, and then I would be without a husband, Kevin would have been without a father. They killed this man in cold blood. Someone who had the heart to do it. Greedy for power. You afraid of a man? They even they burst into his room in France with bullets to kill him. He escaped. He reported it to the Scotland Yard. Again, they tried it. In the end, he succeeded. They succeeded. How can you hate a man like this? Just because he opposed you. He was your opponent, but you don't have to hate him to that degree. For you to gun down him, the one bullet that killed him was the one that hit him here, right in his nose. When they called his name, the perpetrators, the killers, called his name on his doorstep, just as he walked. They were watching the house. They had taped the house. Gilby Berry was on a weekly receiving tips by Seychelles, bringing the tips to Alberine for them to listen to everything that was happening, where he goes, what he's doing, what's happening. The tape was being, and they knew his whereabouts. They knew what he was doing. And that day, the reason they shot him that day, I believe, that weekend, they were moving house. So the tape that they were getting from opposite that house that they had bought to put the surveillance on him would have finished that day. They wouldn't have been able to go and buy another house opposite that quickly to get all that information. So that day, he had to be eliminated. And come what may, he had to be killed on that Friday. Because the weekend they were all moving away. We lost a great man in Jewawawo. And I put my hand there and I say, he's our hero. He's my hero and a hero of a lot of my friends. And that's the guy that I respect until my dying days, because I know him. He used to come every Sunday at my house, at our house in Bracknell where we lived, for lunch, for dinner, for chat. So we lost a great friend. I just cannot bring myself to forgive. Not a chance.
If it's okay with you, Mrs. Betsy, we might adjourn until 1 o'clock and then have you come back at 1 o'clock. And if you've got anything else you'd like to say, and I'm sure the panel will have questions they would like to put to you, is that agreeable to you?
That is fine by me. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
So thank you very much for your evidence thus far. We will adjourn now until we will resume at 1 o'clock. We will resume with your evidence at 1 o'clock. We might want to contact and delay Mr. Patrick Lavache. Thank you very much. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.